some words that sound the same. They're not spelt the same. They're not spelt the same. See that now? We taught them all about homophones.
Yeah, I learned something too. Oh, two. That's another homophone.
Bonus. Oh, hello. Sorry, didn't see you there. Oh. Right, okay. Let's move on to today's lesson then. Right, before we move on to today's lesson, I wanted to just, in terms of what we talk about in terms of books today, show you something that I've put together, an Upper Key Stage 2 book club on something called a Padlet, which you will have seen because we have posted some on our blogs for you to sort of give thumbs up, thumbs down for different book ideas. But this is an opportunity for you to post about books that you've read and say what you thought of them. Okay, so I've got a couple of examples here. I've got Joshua who was enjoying The Boy in the Tower, which is something we've enjoyed as a class, in Swan class, because every chapter ends on a cliffhanger, so we've put that in there. And Zolta is currently reading the Tales of Beadle the Bard, and he's enjoying that because he said there's lots of drama in it. It's lots of short stories with lots of drama. I just wanted to quickly show you how easy it is to upload. Now, it doesn't matter if you'd rather not have a photograph of yourself on there, that's not a problem. The only people that can see this Padlet are the people who have had the link sent to them. So nobody else in the world can access it other than you guys. So you don't need to worry about other people seeing you. But it's really easy to upload. So I'm going to go to my laptop to show you. And it helps if I switch the screen over so that you can see what I'm showing you. So we have here the internet. There's a little button down the bottom, a little pink circle with a plus on it. If you click on that, it brings up another box here. Okay, you can type in a title, so it'd be good to put the book title in there. I don't know how clear this is actually on here, not brilliant, but gives an idea. Book title, write what you thought. It says write something, you can write what you thought about it. And then there's little symbols, or there's 3 dots on the right hand side. If you click on the 3 dots, then that menu will come up. And I want to upload a picture from my file. And then I'm going to pick file. And hopefully it'll take me to the right place, because I've already uploaded some stuff today. No, which is quite annoying. But that's fine. I will take it to where I want to go. Reading. And then I have a lovely picture of Tamira enjoying Cogheart. And then we have it. Simple as that. Okay. So we will post this on your blogs for you to use. It would be great if as many of you as possible could upload books that you've enjoyed, or books that perhaps you didn't enjoy quite so much, just to give other people something to choose from. When we're trying to think what to read next, it's quite good to read books that are recommended to us by our friends. Okay, so have a look and see what other people have been reading and upload what you've been reading. Onward to today's lesson then. So it's not swipe with this, is it? Like nothing. So here is your learning intention for today. Can I edit my writing for improvement? So pause the video now, get that written down, and then restart when you're ready to move on. As with every other lesson this week, we'll just do a quick grammar lesson, again looking at formality. So underline the sentence that is the most formal in the passage below. Hope you can make it to my birthday party next week. It's going to be great. The venue is yet to be confirmed. I'm still checking out a couple of places. Okay, pause the video now, have a go, and then restart when you're ready to go through the answer. Okay, welcome back. So let's have a look at this. What do you think is the most formal out of those sentences and why? Hopefully you will agree that it is this sentence here. Okay, the venue is yet to be confirmed, because we've got an example. It's yet to be, I believe, will be the passive. Confirmed is nice, quite a formal. The venue rather than the place is yet to be confirmed. These other ones have got contractions in, which is something I said is using quite an informal way, and we've got things like checking out, going to be great. It's quite informal language. Okay, So today then you should either have finished your report on World War II, a topic that you chose to write about, or you might have some sort of finishing touches to do. Once you've finished it, I'd like you to go through these editing stations and maybe give 10 minutes to each editing station, and check your writing for each thing in turn. Okay, so we've got spellings. So it's things about have you I've got some topic words down here, but also there's these commonly misspelt homophones. So check those, use a dictionary. You don't have your vocab book, unfortunately, with you because it's at school, but you've got the internet, you've got the dictionary to be able to check, hopefully. Punctuation, check for missing full stops, commas, and capital letters. Have you used any parenthesis? Okay, and commas can be used in lots of different ways, can't they? So after fronted adverbials, that's a big one that people miss. In lists, so if you're working on the rationing one and you've listed out some things that were rationed, you know, have you got commas in those lists? Have you got complex sentences that need, or compound sentences that need commas to separate clauses? Okay, or have you used parenthesis and you maybe want to use commas, or you might have used brackets or dashes. We'll also think about layout features. Remember we talked about layout features on Monday. Subheadings, have we got subheadings so that you can signal to the reader where they need to go to find out particular information about what you're writing about? Diagrams, okay, if you're using diagrams, are they labelled? Do people know? Have you got captions so people know what that picture's about? We didn't have a glossary in the example that we saw, but glossaries are kind of a little bit like a dictionary for that text. And bullet points, remember bullet points, there are rules around, not there is rules, that's bad grammar, Miss Kai. There are rules around punctuating bullet points, so remember about doing that consistently. Tense, obviously this is something that happened in the past, so that needs to be in the past tense. We're not going to say food is rationed, it was rationed. Hopefully we won't come to that in this day and age. And then we're looking at the formality, okay, so we've got the word choice, we've got the use of contractions, and we've got passive verbs, okay, so we're not using things like would have, we're using would have, okay, it's far more formal. Okay, so here's a piece of text that's been written about evacuation that I think we can improve. Let's start with spellings then. Have a quick read through. So after the war started, the government told kids who lived in cities that they need to move to the countryside. Now, this is one of the year 5-6 spelling words that I have misspelt, okay, which is... always doing that. Government. Remember, governments govern. So there is an N missing from the word. It should be govern. Oops, no, can't spell it still. Government. Okay, so the government who lives in the verb. This was called being evacuated. Evacuation started in 1939 when there was lots of bombing and cities are thought to be too dangerous. Now, there's a homophone that's wrong there. Can you spot it? It's this one here. It was our bonus one from the BBC Super Movers. Okay. When there's too much of something, it's 200. The number is TWO and this is TOO. And I think the rest of it, the spelling, is pretty good. Next thing we want to look at is the punctuation then. Okay, so after the war started is a fronted adverbial. So what do I need after it? That's right, I need a comma. So after the war started, the government told kids who lived in cities. Now that's a form of parenthesis, isn't it? Because I've got a relative clause embedded there that tells me that it's the kids that lived in cities that needed to move. So I need some commas either side. So told kids who lived in cities that they need to move to the countryside. This was called being evacuated. Evacuation started in 1939. Again, another when there was lots of bombing and cities are thought to be too dangerous. When you were evacuated, another fronted adverbial, you have to take everything with you. I think a comma should... oh no, I was thinking here actually, rather than put a comma, I could put something a bit more sophisticated. I could cross out the so and I could put a semicolon, okay, to separate those two clauses. So when you're evacuated, you have to take everything with you. Children had to take a suitcase with the following items. Now, remember our rules for bullet points and punctuating bullet points, okay? There are no fixed rules with what punctuation you need to put on the end of them. In fact, you don't have to put punctuation at all at the end of your bullet points. The key thing is that it has to be consistent. And here, some of them I've used none. One we've used a comma and another one a semicolon. So we just have to make a decision of what are we going to go with. If we do use punctuation at the ends, then our last one needs to have a full stop on the end of it, okay? For this purpose of this, I'm going to take them off completely. Not have any punctuation at all at the end of my bullet points. Okay. Punctuation again though, here, look, clothes, like vests and jumpers and shorts and things, okay? So I've got a list there, and I've got and. So I need to replace my and, don't I, with commas, vests and jumpers, and shorts. Now, the next thing I'm going to look at, and I don't think it was the next thing on my editing stations, but the next thing I'm going to look at is formality, because this here doesn't sound very formal, does it? Clothes like vests, jumpers and shorts and things is not very. So I'm going to take off the and things, and rather than say like, I could say like, for example, would sound more formal, wouldn't it? And I'm thinking maybe as well, how about I put that in brackets and say clothes, for example, comma, vests, jumpers and shorts. Okay, I don't need to say and things, because if I'm saying for example, I'm not saying that that list is the complete list. Okay, I'm saying there's other things as well, but these are just examples of the sorts of things they might be packing. Okay, and I think I've been quite formal with my toiletries. If I put smellies, I probably would have changed it to toiletries. So that's quite a good, and I'd put Wellington boots rather than welly boots. So actually you have been quite formal in my list there. Okay. Let's go back to the start, because we've corrected this, but there are some other things in here in terms of formality that I need to correct. Oh, another spelling mistake I've just spotted. Yes. Everything. We don't, it's not everything, is it? We say everything, so it's sometimes how we sound, it sounds like we're saying, but actually it's spelt with a G on the end, isn't it? Not a K. I nearly missed that. Good job I had somebody here to sort of remind me that that was missing. Right, let's go back and have a look a bit more at formality then. So after the war, oh, I've just spotted another mistake I've made. It shouldn't be after the war, comma. It's after the war started, comma. Okay. The government told, now kids is quite an informal way, isn't it? I must say children would be better for this kind of report. The children who, now we could say, there is a better word we could use than lived. I mean, lived would be okay, but we could be even posher, couldn't we? Say resided. That's another nice word to use. Resided. It's linked to the word residence, isn't it? A resident. So resided in cities that they need to move to the countryside. This was called being evacuation. Evacuation started in 1939 when there was now lots of bombing. Extensive bombing maybe would be a nice word to say, a bit posher than lots of, wouldn't it? A bit more formal. Extensive bombing, and cities thought to be too dangerous. And then I think the rest, when you are evacuated, you have to take everything with you. You have to take all your personal effects with you, maybe, rather than everything. Take all your personal effects with you. Like you said, all your belongings with you. Might be a bit more formal, just going everything with you. In this case. And then I think I'm quite happy now with the formality. I've made a few improvements there. Just checking I haven't got any contractions that I shouldn't have. No, that's all good. Right, next thing then, tense. I've definitely got a few mistakes with tense, because remember we're writing something that happened, so we need to put it in the past tense. So after the war started, the government told children who resided in cities that they needed to move to the countryside. This was called being evacuated. Evacuation started in 1939 when there was lots of bombing, yes. And cities were thought, we're getting our subject-verb agreement, there's more than one city, so it needs to be were, not are, not was, were thought to be too dangerous. When you were, because we always say you were, the conjugation of the verb to be, when you were evacuated, you had to take all your personal effects, all your personal belongings with you. Actually, I'm going to change that to belongings. I like the word personal belongings. Oops, better than effects. With you. Children had to take a suitcase with the following items. And I think we're there with the text. Tense, not text. Now, the last thing we need to think about is our layout features. And one thing we haven't got is a subheading for this. So what could our subheading be? N on children. Could it be what was evacuation? I think that might be a good one. What was evacuation? Obviously using a ruler, not freehand like I have. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with that editing now. I think we've really made some big improvements in that writing. So go away, have a go at improving yours, check it makes sense. Read it out loud to yourself or read it out loud to a tree. Because often when you read things out loud, you can hear that they don't quite make grammatical sense, okay? And then post your, rather than post it on the blog, to email it to your teacher so that they can have a read, because I'm sure they would love to read all your amazing writing that you've been doing this week. Okay, take care and have a good weekend. Bye.